Hey Sarah, could you tell me a little bit about your history and what's gone on with your diabetes?
Yes. I was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic at 20 months old. I'm currently 31 now, so almost 29 years I've been a diabetic. Um, During that time, sleep has been very little, mainly because we would constantly have to check my sugars between an hour to every 2 hours a night, because they would constantly be going up and down.
Mhm.
Um, I was the first person to be on a pump for continuous use, which is pretty cool. Uh, Recently, here, my doctor had introduced me to this whole food plant based diet, and literally for the first time in over 30 years, I've been able to sleep through the night.
Wow.
My sugars have gone from being, two, 300s to 50s to being in the 100s, like between 130s to 110s. It's been amazing.
So
Um,
for almost 30 years, your sugars have been so volatile that you've had to wake yourself up. I think you told me before, or your parents would come and wake you up every
yes.
1 to 2 hours because they got so out of control, you had to use insulin. But the first time in almost 30 years, you're sleeping through the night.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's been incredible. I mean, not only myself, but my mom and dad are able to sleep because, my sugars are under control, and that's never happened.
Yes.
Um, it's just made an incredible difference. Um, and one thing that most people may not know is that for a type 1 diabetic, if we don't have a good night's sleep before, our next day is messed up because our sugars are that much harder to control. So being able to sleep has also helped with my sugars. I mean, I'm almost speechless in a in a sense,
Yeah. How long did it take on the whole food plant-based diet to start the nights where your sugars were under control and you could sleep through the night?
The very first night,
Wow. Okay.
I was, I honestly had thought that, maybe it'll take a week, maybe two. No, literally the first night, my sugars were under control. My sugars were in the 100s. Um, my mom and dad almost couldn't believe it.
And
you
how
know,
you've mentioned that your insulin needs have decreased, but how much have they decreased
yes.
by?
Um, so before I was at 2.4 units an hour, which most people may not understand, but that's a whole lot of insulin. Now I'm currently on 1.1 units an hour. So my insulin needs have decreased by a little over half,
Wow.
which is incredible. And it's also helped with my weight because insulin acts as a steroid. So the more insulin your body has to have, the more weight you gain. Um, and since starting this diet, I've lost right at about 20 pounds. So I mean, it's doing an incredible thing for me.
And how long has that been?
So I started right at the start of the year. So say January 1st.
So the last month and a half, 6 weeks or so, you've lost 20 pounds.
Yes.
That's awesome. And then you had also mentioned um, you had been having issues with your eyes with the diabetic retinopathy. Tell us about
Right.
that.
Um, so for the longest time, we didn't think I had retinopathy. And then 2 years ago, I had a retinal bleed. Since then, I've had about six. I had the laser cautery surgery because I was told if I don't get this, I'm going to go blind. I'm going to totally lose my vision. So, you know, your vision is very important. So I got the surgery. Um, but since then, I've had one more bleed. That was back in November, um, which is honestly very terrifying.
Hmm.
You know, And with this diet, so far I haven't had another bleed, which has been amazing. Um,
So in the last 2 years, you've had 6 or 7 bleeds. They've done
right,
the cauterization. And what has
right.
that done for your vision, the cauterization?
So with the cauterization, I've lost my very edge peripheral vision because they said we have to give up the periphery if we're going to save the central vision. Um,
Hmm.
so while most people may be able to see, at the have the very extent of their periphery, I do not.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
And then
that's
you'd also mentioned your pressure, the intraocular pressures
right.
associated with retinopathy. What's happened there?
So before my eye pressures would be anywhere from 20 to 26. And of course, depending on what scale you use, is technically normal, but it's on the very high end of it. This last time when I saw my retinologist about two weeks ago, I think it was,
Mhm.
um, my pressures were 10 and 12.
Wow. Very good.
I mean, it's, it, I, yeah,
So
I
this has
mean,
given some hope, having had 6, 7 bleeds in the last 2 years. Changing your diet has given some hope. And I know we talked about there's some studies from a while ago that this may have
yeah,
a strong benefit for retinopathy and bleeds in the future. So
yes.
you've had some hope from this, it sounds like.
Truthfully, I wish I had known about this diet and known about the studies before I had the laser surgery, because I can tell you that surgery is very painful afterwards. Um, and if I knew that if possibly changing my diet could have maybe prevented or helped reverse some of this, I probably wouldn't have done that. I mean, it's a
Sure.
very risky surgery to have, and I can still suffer some of the risks from it.
Yep, yep.
Um, but yeah,
All right. Well, thank you very much.
you're very welcome.